Hello, my friends. I'm very excited because this week I received two packages in the mail that I've been waiting quite some time for. The first package held this book. This book is by Quackenbush, Elementary History of the United States. Y'all, this was published in 1868, right after the Civil War. And then I also received this book in the mail. This is the Students' History of the United States, revised by Channing. This one was published in 1919. I've got those two books, and then these books came some time ago. These are two other history books published late 19th century and then in the 20th century. And in an upcoming episode, I was hoping to do it this week, but I it's daunting for me, and I want to do the justice it deserves. I'll be comparing these history books used in the public school system in the United States to an AP history book currently used for history classes in the high school in my school district that my kids would have gone to. One of my kids did go to. And so I'll be doing a comparison and contrast, but I'm not doing that just yet. But I was super excited. I've just kind of been flipping through this book in particular because it is on the heels of the Civil War, is when it was written, which got me thinking. For today's episode, it's going to be brief, but I want to refer you to an episode that I did when I very first started this podcast 3 years ago. By the way, my name is Janae Daniels. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 6. I'm a former middle school teacher turned homeschool mom. I'm also an independent researcher. I love vintage textbooks and studying the history of the education system in the United States. And I'm also a homeschooling mentor. So this is the School to Homeschool podcast and YouTube channel. But today, usually my podcasts have an outline, but they're not scripted. And today I wanted to share with you something that I did script because I wanted to get it right. And I also wanted to refer you to an episode. This is my pre-videoing the episode. So there's a picture on the screen, but it's just my voice talking. This is when I was just doing my podcast via audio. And then I put it on YouTube. But it was funny because when I recorded that episode, the intention of the episode, I called it "There Will Be Opposition" on the audio platforms. The intention of the episode was to give tools for new homeschoolers to use to combat all the naysayers in their lives that were against homeschooling, whether it be family members or friends or, friends from public school or whatever. And the episode, I veered completely away from what I had anticipated to say and didn't talk about those things at all, and ended up talking about the foundings of the U.S. and our heritage as for those of us in the United States, and the rebellion kind of that runs through our veins. And so because this week we'll be celebrating the 250th signing of the Declaration of Independence, which actually happened on July 2nd, but that's okay. I want to refer you to that episode. So I'm experimenting to put the link to click on the links here. If not, if it doesn't work, I'm going to put the links in the description as well as the end of this video for you to check out that episode and listen to it. You can't really watch it because it's not a video. It's an audio, but I did put it on YouTube. And since I can't re-put it on YouTube, I'm just referring back to it because I get very, very passionate. Recently somebody in the comments said, "Oh, there's this anger about you." Which is so funny. And I shared that with a couple friends and they're like, "What in the world?" Obviously this person doesn't know you. I'm not obviously not, because they're commenting on a YouTube video when they don't know me. But I'm a very passionate person, and I've been told that I can get intense, but I'm actually a very joyful person. But in this episode, this throwback episode 11 is what it is. There will be opposition. I do get very intense. So I'd encourage you to watch that episode. In the meantime, for today, in an honor of our 250th birthday for this beautiful country that we've been given, that I will be doing some historical comparison of texts, because I feel like we have veered away from being proud of our history. And granted, there are ugly things in our history, but there's also beautiful things that we are choosing to forget. As I've been flipping through this other textbook, I'm like, why don't they highlight George Washington? He was a magnificent human being. Yes, he had flaws, but by golly, those darn historians, I almost said a different word, who wrote this textbook, in their arrogance, neglect to talk about him. Actually, they have just little blurbs here and there, but there's not much to it. And yet he was so foundational in his courage and his bravery in doing what he did, even though the odds were completely stacked against him. And had he lost, he probably would have been hung as a traitor. But anyway, so I will be sharing that video later, because it's been interesting reading through the contemporary textbook compared to these textbooks. And I haven't done a deep dive yet, but I will be. So today I wanted to honor not only Washington and Jefferson and Franklin, as well as Spy 351, who they know is a woman, and but they still to this day don't know who she was, that helped win the revolution as one of Washington's spies. I want to honor those individuals with something that I have prepared. And in celebration of our beautiful, magnificent country, that recently people who've come from all over the world have discovered the beauty of our country. And so this is what I want to say for today's episode, which is much shorter than my normal episode. And I would like to refer you to episode number 11 of this podcast. Again, I'll put it in the description. So this is what I prepared. And usually I don't use a script, but today I wrote it out. So I want to pause for a moment and honor something historic. This year, the United States turns 250 years old. 250 years ago, a group of imperfect but courageous men put their names, their reputations, and their lives on the line to declare that liberty was worth the cost. They wrote that our rights do not come from government, but from our Creator. And that among those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. America has never been perfect. No nation made up of human beings ever is. But the promise of America is still powerful. It's the idea that ordinary people can worship freely, speak freely, build families, educate their children, work hard, repent, rebuild, and pass something better to the next generation. But liberty must be taught. It cannot be assumed. The next 250 years of America will not begin in Washington, D.C. It will begin in our homes, around our dinner tables, in the stories that we tell our children, in the books we place in their hands, in the way that we teach them to love truth, practice virtue, honor, sacrifice, and use freedom responsibly. And it will not be taught in the public schools. It will be taught by us as parents. So as we celebrate 250 years, I hope we do more than watch fireworks. I hope we remember that the sacrifices that made this nation possible should be kept in our minds. I hope we teach our children what freedom means. And I hope we become the kind of people who not only deserve it, but can preserve it. Because we honor the past best by raising people worthy of the future. Happy 250th birthday, America. May we be grateful for the past, honest about the present, and faithful with the future. I'm excited to do this video on history. It's coming, I promise. It's just very daunting because history is very nuanced. But even amongst the nuance, we have a beautiful history. Even amongst the ugly, we have a beautiful history. So with that, mamas and papas, grandmas and grandpas, you are doing so much better than you think you are. You got this. Happy 4th of July for those of us in the United States. We will talk next week.